Yes, people. It's Eyes on the Ball TV with your favorite host, Daniel. It's a Chelsea special again. You know, when you see my face, it's going to be a Chelsea special. I got very, very special guests with me. There's so much to discuss, so much to dive into. So here we go.
Yo, I'm tryna get my sterling up in the city, so s'il play. As soon as my child can walk, it's straight Project Mbappe. But all the verbal, as soon as I hear that whistle, we get straight to the action. Come on lads, where's the passion? Do like Alamat, wear headbands for the fashion. If the defenders drop back, we counter and then attack them. I got my eye on the ball, I got my eye on the ball, yeah. I got my eye on the ball, I got my eye on the ball, yeah. I got my eye on the ball, I got my eye on the ball.
As soon as we hear that whistle, we get straight to the action. How's everyone doing, man? How's everyone doing?
Gee, that intro is hard, bro.
Yeah, I
was vibing, you know what I mean? Oh my God.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Might have to put it on Spotify for the people. Been hearing it too often, so might have to get it out there. But nah, Chelsea special, man. How's everyone doing? I hope everyone's doing well on this hot summer's day, wherever you are. Boy, I can see everyone sweating.
I ain't sweating. You know what I mean? I ain't sweating at all. If anything, you can hear my air conditioner. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm not bothered. You know what I mean?
If we're not sweating, one person that definitely might be sweating is Marina, considering the pressure that a lot of Chelsea fans are putting her and the football club under. Just a bit of background context. Chelsea Football Club, of course, from the beginning of the transfer window, there have been two main signings linked to the club. Whether you like him or whether you don't like him, Declan Rice has been linked with the football club for a very long time now. And whether we like it or not, it seems like he's someone that is part of the shortlist. And then Erling Haaland. I mean, Lukaku's been mentioned, Kane's been mentioned, but it seems like Erling Haaland is the number one transfer target for Chelsea. I'll come to you with this, Claudio. Are you nervous that we don't get any of our major signings, especially as well Hakimi? I never thought Hakimi was a major option. I thought it was like an addition. If we got him, it would have been nice. If we didn't, it's fine. But I think the fans have taken it badly because we're not looking like we're getting our number one targets. So would you say that you're nervous about the situation right now?
I wouldn't say I'm nervous as of yet. There's still time in the transfer window. So I think we've just got to be realistic. Deals like this, when it comes to big players, you know it's never going to be easy. I think last summer we was obviously lucky and we was blessed with all those signings coming at one time. It was just like signing after signing. Obviously the Kai Havertz still took a little bit longer than what we all hoped, and I feel like it's a little bit the same with the Haaland one. But I think at the moment we just got to be patient. I know it's hard to be patient at times when it comes to sort of transfer activity. We do need a striker, 100%. We need a Haaland, and I think if we don't get Haaland, we have to target Lukaku. That's the only two strikers I'd want at Chelsea if it was to get a striker this summer. But I wouldn't hit the panic button as of yet. I just think, obviously, the start of pre-season's only just started, last week. Thomas Tuchel's got his time now to sort of look at the loan players which will come back, the youngsters who are coming through. So I think it's a good time for him just to sort of settle the squad a little bit, and then hopefully now the transfer activity heats up a little bit, because I will be probably panicking in two weeks' time if there's still no striker.
Yeah. Okay, bearing in mind what he said then, Joyce, on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely do you think the Haaland deal happens?
See, I don't know, because the fee that I keep seeing is like 175 million, and it doesn't seem like Dortmund want to budge, and they don't have to budge because they're not in a rush to get rid of him. So we either just stump up the money or we don't. And I don't know, maybe I'll put like a 6 out of 10, because it can happen if we stump up the cash, but I just don't know if we will. And I don't know if our board will look at that fee and just be like, do you know what, it's too much. Because we've seen, like, you know, they might do like a part exchange, like give 100 million, then give Tammy Hudson-Odoi. They don't want that because they don't need it. Dortmund aren't in a position where, like, it's not like Sancho where like his contract's run down. He already wanted to go. Like, they can wait until next year and still get the 75 million. So I don't know. It's really on our side to kind of just pay or be done.
I hear that. Alexis, I'll come to you with this. I think everyone on the panel might agree that we need a striker. That was one of the major issues with Chelsea. We created, I think, the third most big chances in the league last year. And we had, I think, the second highest XG in the league. But we weren't scoring at the rate that we should have been. I'll actually use a question that was used in the comments. If everything else fails, are you happy with getting in Ings for potentially a year or two and then a backup? Then you get the main striker next year.
No, I hate stopgap signings and I hate wasting money on squad players. Like, I'm a firm believer of you only sign players that are coming in to start. And then if they come in to start, your starter drops down to the bench or a youth team player gets promoted. There's no point spending. Ings will cost 20 million. That's 20 million that can go into Raiola's agent fee, like realistically speaking. And I don't think Ings is that much of an upgrade personally to Tammy. And more importantly, I would rather have Kai as false nine in that situation.
No, that's fair enough. I mean, Dammy, I don't know if you share the same thoughts, but what do you think about the Haaland situation and what we could possibly do if we don't get Haaland? Are you happy to go into next season without signing a striker?
I'll be fine.
Try. Honestly, yeah, I can't lie to you. Yeah, the way this window is moving, I can't like. Before I even get into that, like, can we just talk about how everybody's scrambling about Haaland? Like, the amount of news, the sheer amount of news that's been regurgitated. Yesterday on twitter.com, I tweeted, literally, I said, breaking news, Haaland to Chelsea's on thin ice because he wants a 5-car garage with his apartment instead of a mansion. So many people believe that. People are literally buying on everything and anything they can get. It's like fish in water when they see some worms. Honestly, this Haaland thing, I'm tired of it. But when it boils down to, would I be satisfied if we don't get a striker? I feel like I have to. It's one of them situations where if we don't get a striker, I wouldn't be too. And what I don't want us to do is get the wrong striker. I'm hearing Danny Ings or Danny Ings, man. I mean, yeah, he can score a lot of goals, but like Alexis said, I'm not on that stopgap thing. You know, I'm coming from. I'm not really on that stopgap thing. You don't go around signing players like that when you had sort of other motives. You know, I'm coming from. You're not going to buy an iPhone 7 because you're waiting for the iPhone 13. Don't make sense. You know, I'm coming from. You go out and get what you need to get, no matter how long it takes. So for me, Haaland, the way it's moving right now, do I think it's realistic? Do I see it happening? I don't know. You've got Raiola saying he wants 40 bags, bro. If you want 40 M's, yeah, you've got to play midfield. I swear to God. You're not going to get on the... You're not going to go out there and do things for free, bro. You've got his dad as well, wanting 20 M's. Haaland is going to want some money too. Dortmund want like 150, excluding Adam. There are so many moving parts. So for me, when it comes to asking, do I feel like I'd be upset? I would be quite upset if we don't get someone up front this window. But then again, I would be more upset if we went out and bought the wrong person. So... yeah, I think I'd be calm, to be fair.
Daniel,
I wouldn't be too angry,
Daniel, Remy, Demba Ba, Falcao, Pato, Higuain. We've done the stopgap. Do you want another list? Like, what is the point?
But then again, I just thought of something as well. Like, if Tammy ends up, it depends on how Chelsea handle their business. If Tammy goes, Giroud has obviously gone as well. If Tammy goes as well, then there needs to be some. Even if we sign Haaland, you need to get another striker. You need another striker to be fair. So
Michi's coming back. I told everyone. It's happening.
Who?
It's happening.
Nah, no more SpongeBob SquarePants. Nah, we're not doing the SpongeBob thing no more.
It's happening.
Nah. Thanks for all the Twitter memes, but it's calm. You know what I'm saying?
Let's be real though. Let's be real, and that's something that I'll come to you with this, Joyce.
Yeah.
Me personally, obviously, I've heard what everyone has said. I think that Chelsea are not a club that allow the manager time to figure out things. They need to get it right instantly. Does Tuchel have the time to almost experiment for a season with just Kai Havertz? Because think about it now. Imagine we've sold Giroud now. Imagine Tammy does go, which is looking increasingly likely.
Yeah.
Is it okay for us to go into next season with just Kai Havertz as our out-and-out 9 and then Broha as the backup? I'm not convinced by that. I'm really not convinced by that.
The thing is, I wouldn't mind it as much if we had goals from elsewhere on the pitch. Do you know what I mean? If Havertz is a false nine and we're expecting like maybe 20 goals all competitions because he's moved further forward on the pitch, he can score a few more goals. And we have kind of like, we have goal scoring wingers, we have inside forwards, we have goals from midfield, it doesn't matter as much if Havertz is false nine. But for me, I don't feel like we can trust Havertz to be the person who's going to get us 20+ goals. Like, I think it's a risky strategy to just rely on Havertz false nine. I understand that it's better than getting like a really crap like stopgap that we're going to struggle to shift. Like, you know, if we speak about Danny Ings, he might not cost that much, but his fees, you know, how much we pay him per week is going to be quite expensive. In a year or 2 years' time, we try and get rid of him. He's going to be a ball ache to get rid of because no one's going to want I don't even know what this man is. Frankly, I don't care. This older striker that we can't get rid of because we pay him too much. And then it becomes just like the Emersons and the Alonsos, the Postas, and all the people that we bought as stopgaps. So I understand why people don't want that, and I don't want that either. But it's just, like you said, we're in a club where you can't, managers don't get time. You just, you know, they have to have the right pieces. And if Tuchel decides that, you know, Havertz is going to, if he gets told Havertz is your guy, he's going to be your striker, him and Timo Werner, I don't know.
Cool.
He just, it's hard.
I get what you're saying. I'll come to you, Claudio, then with this. I fully understand it, but the main narrative last season, especially even despite all the success that we had with Tuchel, was that our £50 million striker wasn't scoring goals. Yeah. So we can all agree that the reason why we want a striker right now is because Timo Werner didn't give us the return that we needed from a striker. So we're now put in a situation where we're in desperate need of a striker. Tuchel obviously doesn't trust Tammy. I don't suddenly see him turning around and having this revelation that Tammy now becomes our main striker and he tries him for a number of... Tammy will not start the first game of the season. That's just not going to happen. So why would we put ourselves through a circumstance where we're going into a new season where striker was a priority, but then we're not addressing that priority? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's a tough one, to be honest. I think it's just due to obviously the top targets. We all know Harden is top target, and we know, like I said, how difficult it will be to land him. In regards to Tammy, I think we know from as soon as sort of Tuchel arrived, he doesn't fit in Tuchel's team, which is fair enough. Sometimes when a manager comes, certain players do get dropped, and unfortunately for Tammy, that's be the case for him. He doesn't sort of fit within Tuchel's system, or there's something about his sort of style of play which Tuchel doesn't like. I'm not convinced on Werner to lead the line next season, just from seeing what he done for us last season. I do like Timo Werner as a player, and I'm not criticising too hard, but we do still need more goals from him. And that goes for next season as well. And not just Timo Werner, also the other sort of anyone in that front three. We didn't have enough goals from anyone in that front three. So I think all sort of need to step up in that respect in terms of more goals. But again, it's just, I think last season it was so clear to see how much we do need a striker. We need that 20+ goal season striker just to sort of, you know, them games where we're struggling against, you know, the likes of West Brom this last season and all those horrible games where we were sort of finding it difficult to break down teams, and we need, you know, we've seen in the past the Drogba's in the past and those players who sort of got us out of the rut. We don't have that at the moment. I mean, see, Kai Havertz as a false nine, it does give me more faith. And I think, it's his second season now. He's had a bit of trouble in his first season in regards to sort of settling and COVID, all the circumstances around it. But I just think putting all the pressure on Kai Havertz, don't forget he's still a young player. If we're relying on him to be our sort of false nine and our sort of out-and-out striker for the season, I just think that's, I don't see that working. We need to be competing for the title, and without a striker, I think it's hard to compete still.
Let me introduce someone who I know for sure wants a striker. Anita, how you doing?
Bring me a striker now. What have we been waiting for? I am vexed. Like, what have we actually been waiting for? I am annoyed. I am angry. Bring me a striker now.
Are you obviously the conversation has kind of gone in the direction of, if we can't get Haaland, we can't get Lukaku, we can't get Kane, are you happy to take Ings for a year or two as a stopgap?
Oh, Danny Ings.
Yeah.
All right. Do you know what? I'm not even gonna disrespect the guy. I like the guy. I think he's class. He's a very good forward. I wouldn't take him at Chelsea. I'm so sorry. I wouldn't take him at Chelsea. Like, the thing is, right? as a Chelsea fan, I've accepted that I'm, you know, spoiled, and we like the finer things in life. And Danny Ings, he's like literally putting a plaster over a crack. Like it's not going to fix the actual problem. So what's the actual point of spending money on Danny Ings when we could, you know, I'm okay with leaving Abraham there, because that's something that we've seen that could kind of work in some situations. Timo Werner and Kai Havertz up front as well kind of works in some situations. I'd rather keep that than spend money on another striker that I don't necessarily need.
Yeah,
so
no, I get you. Do you know what? I've heard all the arguments with the striker debate and whatnot. I'll come to you, Alexis, and then
Tammy's
everyone
gone though, right? Because he's got 12 months left. We're not going to let him go for free. Chelsea don't let money go out the window for free. So like,
that's what I was thinking about. Yeah, that's the problem.
Being priced out of it, though.
Yeah, but surely they won't say 40 million and then stop at that. Like, they'll accept 30 on deadline day if it comes down to it.
Fair enough. But the question I got to you, Alexis, though, is who needs to step up? Because as much as we're looking in the transfer market, we have a bucket load of players who do not get output, assist-wise, goals-wise, enough output anyway. Who needs to step up out of all the guys that we have in the attacking department? Who needs to really step up for you?
So apart from the obvious Werner, which I think we all agree he needs to score, for me it's Ziyech and Pulisic. Both of them, like Ziyech was meant to be the experienced guy coming in, putting numbers on the board. That's what I got told. And Pulisic was meant to be a £60 million player. Sadly, neither one of them's performing. I can't have playoff Pully for 2 weeks and then he ends up playing like he's Bambi and Malang Sarr. Like, no, I need you doing something in the final third, please. I'm dead serious. I hate watching Pulisic play because I don't know what I get from him. Like 5 minutes, I'm excited, and then 40 minutes, I'm like, "Where's Pully?"
And he is just smiling.
I'm not even smiling. I'm just nodding my head because I don't want to say it, but
you're not the one that said it.
I told you so.
No, but like if you're investing 60 million in someone, I expect a certain level of like productivity, and I can't have your second season be worse than your first season. Like, especially when you were injured more in your first season than your second season. Like, the math's not mathing. Like, something's wrong.
Like, to be honest, I've been saying something is not clicking there. And it's okay to, like, say he had a great half of the season where he bailed us out and got us top 4. It's okay to say it. But then it's also okay to criticize, because at the end of the day, he's not living up to expectations. And he needs to... in the season coming anyway, he needs to pull something out of the bag. Otherwise, the t-shirt sales aren't going to just cut it for this club anymore, you know? This is, his third season or fourth season going in now?
Yeah. Third season.
Third season. And it's like, your third season will either make or break your career at Chelsea at this point. There's only so much that's going to hold you down for the rest of your time at Chelsea. I'm so sorry. That one Liverpool match that we all like to talk about and the Burnley match that we like to talk about, it's not going to hold him forever. It's really not going to hold him forever. And the sooner we see between the cracks, then the harder it's going to be for Pulisic, because the full crowd is coming back to Stamford Bridge. He doesn't want to get booed. He does not want to get booed. Honestly, he needs to step it up, especially with the crowd there as well.
Claudia, you were going to say something?
Yeah, no, I agree, to be honest. Pulisic, it's definitely frustrated me at times last season, because the thing is with Pulisic, when he's on form, the class he's shown, like you said in the Liverpool game, even in Madrid away in the Champions League, what he did in that game for us, I thought it was great in that game. But the problem with Pulisic is consistency. I think that mainly comes down to injuries with him. He's definitely a very injury prone. Like Alexis mentioned, I think he's injured more in the first season than the last season. But yeah, we do want to see more out of Pulisic now, personally. I do as well. He is still young. He's 22. So, yeah, there is still room to develop. But this is his third season now. So I personally want to see a bit more from him in terms of consistency more than anything. We've seen brilliance from him, but just not enough over sort of a certain period of time.
Joyce, one of the attackers we haven't spoken about is Callum Hudson-Odoi. What do we do about him and his situation?
See, you know what? Yeah, Hudson-Odoi is a sore spot for me. That's my guy. Like,
shout out Chelsea Howard.
You know how much they love the boy, but I
Yeah,
think with him it's very difficult. In the sense that, like, you know, he had a season under Lampard where he didn't really cement himself into the team, kind of on and off with injuries, didn't really get the chance. The season after, well, not season after, you know, Lampard leaves, Tuchel comes in, and he kind of seemingly gets his trust in that wing back role, and then falls out of position a little bit. You know, just I wasn't really sure what was going on there. I didn't know if that meant he was out or if it didn't. But I think it's difficult because I don't think if you call Hudson-Odoi and you ask him, do you want to be a right wing back? He doesn't. When you speak to him and when he has interviews and all this stuff, he says, I want to be a left winger or I want to be a 10. Those are the places where he believes he thrives, where he wants to be the best. Unfortunately, not only do we not really play in a formation that will allow him to kind of like play in the hole the way he wants to, there's also too many people clamoring for that left wing spot, and he's not trusted enough to be given the keys. And I feel like he needs consistency in his side. He needs to be able to he just needs game time. He needs to play consistency. He needs to be confident, because like 2 years ago, he's being put like, you know, he's one of the best youngsters in the league. He's better, his levels are better than Sancho. He's this, that, and the other. And then 3 years later, he's barely getting a start in his team. Like, he needs that confidence. He needs to be able to play. He needs to believe that he's a good player again, because I think that massively affects like a young player if you don't even get the chance to prove yourself. Whether he's going to get that at Chelsea, I don't know. I don't know if we put him back in the wing back role or he gets a shot, you know, playing in the front three. I don't really know. But something tells me that like by the end of the season, he's either in the team or we're going to try and move him on or send him on loan or something.
Dami, do you agree with this? So going to slander
with the comment.
Yeah,
Josie,
with the comment.
I think you should go manage your job in a room, innit? You know, coming from. I don't think you should be talking about my star boys like that. Nah. Let's not do that. See ya. The news is the match is mapping with this one because the news is all lining up. Do you know what I'm saying? We all saw the video of Hudson-Odoi skilling those Ghanaian uncles. I'm telling you, Tuchel has it on his phone. You know, I'm coming from. He has it saved on his wallpaper and everything. Then I'm also seeing news that he's stronger, faster, and sharper than ever before. And Tuchel is sort of looking at him as well. And I've also just seen that apparently Tuchel is thinking about possibly moving away from the wing back thing. And he likes Callum Hudson-Odoi. Oh, God. People, when I tell you the train is arriving, when I tell you the train is arriving this season, because let's keep it a buck. Everybody knows I love Hakim Ziyech. Spoiler alert, I don't. So Ziyech, I don't
have to say what?
I think I was about to bait me out here. Nah, absolutely not. But my thing with Ziyech is that once again, I'm not really that hot on him. Pulisic, as much as I rate him, and I know I rate Pulisic, sometimes maybe good, sometimes, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to curse on the channel before monetization goes in the bin. But once again, you've got Pulisic doing this thing. And then other than that, there's really nothing happening on the flanks. Do you know I'm coming from? There's really nothing else happening on the flanks that I'm actually going to look at. So I do believe that I agree with Joyce when she says that this is the season where it's either it happens or it doesn't happen. Do you know I'm coming from? And I'm just not entirely sure because once again, we also have to look at the fact everybody talks about the players, the youth players, and I know we'll get to all of that later, but everybody seems to be forgetting that. Yeah, we won the UCL last year, but this was a 3-year plan. Winning that UCL, obviously, it was a nice thing, nice star on the patch, but we're going for the league title next season. Consistency is going to need to be key. So all these different players are going to need to put good games every single week, and I believe that Callum Hudson-Odoi, especially with all the news that I'm seeing, I mean, once again, we know that these journalists, sometimes they don't know what they're talking about, like we can see with Erling Haaland. But then again, I'm hoping, I'm praying, you know what I'm saying, that we finally get to see him busting down on the flanks, innit? So let's just say as it goes, man. But for me, all this, we should slander Pulisic, slander Callum Hudson-Odoi. Why can't we let two legends coexist, man? Allow them to do their thing.
I mean, it shouldn't be one or the other, should it?
Gee, man, like monster. Oh, listen, what are you telling me?
What are you saying, Dami, man? He's saying Anita, Alexis, Daniel, Claudio, and Joyce. What are you lot saying, man?
All good, man. All good, monster.
That's what
I was gonna ask him, but
cool, man. We cool in this house. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the Chelsea toppers a hat an hour ago.
Oh yeah, actually, I need to get a haircut in it. You know what I mean? That's all.
Nah, 100%. But Monster, obviously, we're trying to go through. Obviously, you cover a lot of the transfers. You do a lot of transfer shows. It must get tiring, bro. I commend your efforts because I could not do what you do. But at the end of the day, what it comes down to is the reality is Haaland isn't a guarantee, and that's what it needs to like. It's not a guarantee. No one in their right mind, and I won't listen to anyone who tells me they are 10 out of 10 sure that Haaland will be a Chelsea player by the end of this summer. So the question I have to you is, going into next season, to win the league title with the current crop of talent we have, let's say we're going with our 3-4-3 again, who is the front three you rely on week in, week out in the biggest games?
I don't think it's going to, from what I've heard, it's not going to even be a front three. It's going to be a Tuchel's tried out in the previous friendly of 4-2-4. That's that. And obviously we're going to play with a 3-4-2-1 thing in it. But I mean, we don't know who's going to be the front three because we don't know what striker we're bringing in just yet. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. So if I was to choose, I would say most definitely that striker is probably going to be the one to start. Then I would think it would be right now. It would be Werner and not necessarily Havertz yet because Havertz still adjusting and things like that. And then obviously it could be Mason Mount on one of the wingers, probably. Yeah.
I can't lie to you. I'm not trying to see Mason Mount bombing down the flanks. You get cooked again.
Me neither. But
can you imagine the Chelsea team with Mason Mount?
That cousin that gets invited to all the parties that no one likes sometimes. That's Mason Mount.
Has he not earned the right? Has he not earned the right?
Not the wings. Not the wings.
He's earned the right to start. Like
not on the wings.
He's guaranteed to for now. Like he's guaranteed to start every game.
Not on the wings.
No, but it might not even be wingers. It might be like inside forwards again or something. I don't know. Like it might be some. You know how Tuchel, we never know what he's cooking. Do you know what I mean? We'll say this and say that, and then he comes with something completely different that we don't even know about.
Yeah. Joyce, what's your opinion on Mason Mount and just the fact that if we do get a striker,
you smile like that.
if we do get a striker, you're looking at the striker being guaranteed a spot. And I always say, look, Mason Mount is guaranteed a spot. Whoever the manager is, Mason Mount just seems to always start. So what's your opinion on that? Does he deserve it?
I like Mason Mount. I like him a lot. Yeah, I feel like he gets a lot of unnecessary flack. You know, some of it may have come from me, but you know, those tweets don't exist anymore, so we don't talk about him. But I do think that I think based on last season and based on the fact, especially like you know, he's our player of the season, he's our player of the year, player of the season. You know, he's been trusted by every manager who seems to play him. He's just going to be one of the first names on the team sheet. And if he's not playing, it's going to be maybe more to do with like, oh, there's some sort of formation change that he can't fit into, or there's an injury. But when it comes to normal everyday match day, Mason Mount will be starting. I think he's earned that right. I think he's been one of the more consistent players that we've had last year. He does need to improve in terms of like his output if he's going to be playing across the front three. He only scored, I think, 5 goals last season. I might be wrong. Yeah. But he has earned, I believe that he's earned his place. I don't know where he would fit. I don't like him particularly as like an out-and-out winger. You know, like I don't know if you guys, or I'm sure you guys remember like when Lampard came into his second season and we were all complaining, why is Mason Mount playing left wing when Hudson-Odoi is right there, this and that and the other. And he really, really stunk up the joint like differently. Yeah. Like, it was really bad. So I don't really want to go back to that. But if he's, you know, he can play deeper. He can play maybe in that 8 role. If we're playing in a position, you know, playing a game that requires a 10, he can fit in there. If he's playing as an inside, you know, like a more of a narrow, like on the left, then he can play that. But I'm also saying like we don't know how Tuchel's going to set us up, so it's really hard to say where Mason Mount's going to be.
Yeah, no, I hear that, man. I hear that. Do you know what? One of the viewers reminded me of a question he wanted me to ask everyone, and just so that I don't forget, I'll put it out there. Anyone can go with this. He said to me, "Do we think that Werner's getting a buy?" In terms of the fact that people are saying we should expect him to improve next season, but does he necessarily improve as a footballer next season? Because there were some things that were very, very hard to watch last year, and we should just be honest. Yeah, go on, Anita.
To be very honest, right? Upon proper reflection of last season, look at the numbers, and the numbers they're kind of like numbers of a winger, right? And I kind of think we've given him kind of a hard time purely because we saw him at Leipzig playing off another player, right? And he did that so well. So to come to another league and to have to be that number 9 player, it's been a bit difficult for him. But then it's like the things that he misses, it's kind of hard to watch. And then you think anyone on the pitch would have at least tapped it in, you know, like. But I do think we should give him another season. If we can give people like, I don't know, Pulisic 3 seasons to prove himself to us. Don't look at me like
he's a young free chicken. He's a small chicken. No, Anita.
Pulisic banged the first season though.
Anita.
Let me finish.
I can't let you finish.
Let her finish.
Let me finish. But I just think if we can give Pulisic that amount of time, we can definitely give that to Timo Werner, because let's keep it real. Last season, did Christian Pulisic live up to anyone's expectations? Absolutely not. Yeah, last season did Werner live up to anyone's expectations? Absolutely not. So we've given Pulisic that extra season, that extra remontada season. Why can we not give it to Timo Werner, who's just come into a brand new league, playing in a position that he's not too comfortable with?
Anita, can I just say, yeah,
okay.
With Pulisic in his first season, he proved himself at Chelsea. I'm not saying Werner doesn't deserve. Werner definitely deserves another season. Every player, like if you have one bad season, you deserve another season to get yourself back in it. But we can't act like Pulisic hasn't proven what he's good at. Like we saw the best. Forget the Liverpool game. That whole season in general, Pulisic was probably Chelsea's best player. Like he was amazing, and he put up, I think it was 11 and 11. Those are crazy numbers for a winger. Those are like the best of wingers. Those are the numbers they put up, and he put them up, man.
But the thing about that is, I agree that Pulisic was probably one of the best players off of the season with COVID and stuff. I 100% agree that. There's no argument with that. But then when you put it into wider perspective, if we had players like, I don't want to say Eden Hazard, but Eden Hazard. If we had a player like Eden Hazard and he put up a season like that, a lot of people will be criticizing him, because at the start of the season, he only had, let's say, 1 or 2 great games, right? In my opinion, he only had 1 or 2 great games. And then it took until after the restart where he finally came out and he finally started scoring goals and finally started making a difference. But then people pick up on matches such as the Liverpool match. Bro, we lost that match, you know? No one really talks about the FA Cup where, you know, he was running and pulled a hammy, which was so unfortunate, but that cost us the game because he is an injury-prone player.
He was. Do you not remember the solo? Do you not remember the solo goal against Arsenal? He scored the solo goal. And remember, before that period where you talk about where he was out of the team or he weren't doing well, that was wasn't that when Frank Lampard dropped him and everyone was going crazy like, why are you not playing him? Why are you not playing him? And when Frank Lampard finally played him, he went crazy.
He went crazy. He got a hat trick and then got an injury.
Yeah, but that's injuries, isn't it?
The thing is,
that's the only problem. That's literally sorry, Alexis. That's literally the only problem. The only problem is, you can tell me that he's proven himself by, you know, showing glimpses of what he can do, and that's fine. I get that. But at the end of the day, has he proven himself to be a player that can be fully fit and then deliver the way that he did at that time? No, he
Alexis Bendami.
Yeah. For me, Anita said, what's it called? He hasn't put up numbers, yeah? And I agree with her, because Werner put up the same numbers. I think he got, what, 12 and 12 this year. And we're all acting like it's the end of the world when it comes to him.
Way more games.
Yeah, but come on, man. At the end of the day, whose fault is it that Pulisic gets injured? Like, that's his body. That's him. That's going to be him for the rest of his career, most probably. And do you really want to put up with that for me for the rest of his career? You can't trust that.
I feel like he'll come good in terms of injuries wise. Like he'll come fit. Remember Robin at Chelsea.
But do you know
Jesus
what,
Christ, he was always injured.
I pray that he comes in good. I pray he comes in great because he's a very good player. Like when he shines, he shines. He's a very good player. But how many Robins are there in this world? There's not that many that have had that many injuries at the age of 22 to come back and actually prove the entire world wrong, you know? I hope that he can find a way and, you know, Chelsea can find a regime for him that works for his fitness. But at the end of the day, you've got to look at it in probabilities here. It's highly unlikely that he will overcome all of these injuries. He's had terrible injuries. He's had knee injuries, ankle injuries, thigh injuries, hamstring injuries. Everywhere in your leg, he's had an injury. And at the age of 22, it's a cause for concern for me anyway. It's a cause of concern and it's just not reliable. Oh, God, he's picking up the mic. Oh,
I need... You know what? I'll allow you in it. You know what I'm saying? Because you said so. I'm not even going to troll because you did say some things that are correct in it. You know, coming from when you talk about his injury record and the probability. But once again, this guy is 22 years old. He's 22. Do you know what I mean? He's 20. Why are you laughing? He's been there for ages, isn't it? I know. He's like Donnarumma. That man have been there for too long. What did you say?
Why'd you say it like that?
Well, because he's 22. Do you know what I mean? He's young. He's young. Do you know I'm coming from? Like he's still a spring chicken. Do you know I'm coming from? So like his body can't even that high. Do you know what I'm saying? He's a young child. So like you don't even need to bother about it. It's been a while. Allow me. But now, like I said, that was actually I need to actually pattern my lingo on streams again. But like I said, for me, it's one of them situations where he's still a young guy. And like, I'm just going to allow him to sort of keep doing his thing because his age mates with Mason Mount, the same person that everybody's willing to give like, all right, it's Mason, he's still a young boy, let's allow him to do it. He's the same age. Is it because he's not proper Chelsea and he was raised in the UK and he speaks with slang? It's not making, it's not, the maths is not maths in there for me.
60 million. It's because he's cost £60 million. You want a return on your investment. You don't.
Yeah, he's cost £60 million, but it's a long-term investment. I know people that put money down.
It's a t-shirt investment. That's what it is.
Hold on. Can we just deep a long-term investment for Chelsea Football Club? Are you all right?
Yeah, because
how
it's a
long-term investments do we make?
How many times you get the opportunity to sign the flagship for an entire country whose market is completely untapped in America? It doesn't come around that often. Pulisic was signed. We know how we signed Pulisic. We signed Pulisic because the money is American as well. Marketing to get American money in it. Pardon? Yeah, exactly. There's all other things involved. But the thing is that there's a probability he will still do well. Arguably, for me, if you ask me, unpopular or not, I don't care. Christian Pulisic, if he was, obviously, I don't like doing if, buts, and maybes, but on his day, he's probably the best player in our team. You can argue that. On his day, he's the best player on the team. Maybe not one, not number two, but he's the best player on the team. So I'm willing to give that. He's been here for a bit of time. I agree. And like I said, his injuries, he needs to fix up. I'm saying I don't know if he's extending his legs too much when he's doing the leg presses. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the problem is. Whether he's messing up at the gym, I don't know what that issue is. But for me, I'm willing to give him a bit more time because he's too young. He's an expensive young investment. But then again, how many companies have made losses in the first 5 years and then after that, boom, they sort of kick off? I'm willing to give Pulisic that time because we've seen it before. We have seen it before.
The thing is, it's not like I don't want to give him time. It's not even adapting. What I'm saying is, if we're gonna give him time, let's give Werner the same courtesy. Easy. Ooh. That's all I'm saying.
Timo Werner was when he signed for Chelsea. Yeah, we knew what Pulisic was like when we signed him. For starters, when we signed Pulisic,
no. People, no. The thing is, I'm not gonna let people cap today because half the Chelsea fan base did not know what Pulisic was about. People were telling me that Pulisic for Dortmund was this Dortmund star boy, blah, 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 blah. Sancho came in and benched him. Nobody can tell. I'm not hearing the cap.
I'm sorry. When I saw Pulisic, especially against Tottenham, was it? When they lost to Tottenham in the Champions League, he was by far their best player. Like, although Sancho was obviously came in and benched him, but whenever Pulisic played, that I saw, he looked way better than Sancho.
But then it's like, everyone seemed to forget that he barely played.
Well, that wasn't down to him being rubbish or anything. It was just down to him being injured. Yeah,
cool then.
That's
cool. Cool. Let me bud in this then. We're gonna go around the room, starting with Claudio. because we're talking about trajectory and also what you think a player can do, do you think we're better off, or we would have been better off with Sancho, or we're better off with Pulisic? Looking at it now.
Do you know what's so mad? Oh, sorry. Do you, but do you know
the Sancho now, or when Sancho?
Ania, when it's your turn, you'll say what you need to say in it. Say that again, Cardio.
No, I'm happy with Pulisic. I mean, Sancho's putting up good numbers. We'll see what he does for United. But again, there was all good points. There was good points made all around, to be honest with you. And like I said, I want more consistency from Pulisic. But I do think he is one of our most talented on his day. It's just consistency from him now. That's what we need in this season from him. Simple as that. If he you know, lack of injuries, if he keeps fit this season, then hopefully he can put up the numbers which we actually crave, because we need a lot more numbers from our wingers, and I think Pulisic can do that. But it's just a matter of staying consistent and injury free now.
Yeah, facts. Joyce, Pulisic or Sancho?
Sorry, did you say me? Oh,
yeah.
Do you know what? I would say Sancho, because I think he is more of a creative winger. I think that's something that our team needs, or would have needed more than, I think, Pulisic, especially in this time now. I feel like someone who can create something when, you know, we're facing like a low block team. I still feel like, you know, even though Ziyech was meant to be that player, we haven't had that, and that gap in the team, I still feel like is something that Sancho could have filled quite well. And then again, when we talk about like the injuries and that with Pulisic, like that's been a massive issue. As good as he is, you also need consistency to lead your line. Like, it's really hard to rely on someone to be your star player if they're out for like a third of the season. And I think that's just one of the big downsides with Pulisic. So yeah, I would have said Sancho.
I'm so sorry. I just saw this word and it really threw me off. Musculoskeletal issues. Never heard of that. That's mad.
He made that up on the spot.
It's a real word.
I've never heard of that. Hey, that is funny. Promise. Love for that, man. Anita, I don't even need to hear the answer for this, but Pulisic or Sancho?
No, because it's funny because at the time, Pulisic. I 100%.
I'm agreeing with you. Wow.
No, literally, like at the time, Pulisic. Listen, I think Sancho. He's like Joy said, a very creative player, and he's what we need right now. When you think about it, like he's definitely what's missing in our team. However, at that moment in time, we needed a direct player who was able to take on players, who was able to be confident enough to shoot on goal, because we didn't have shooters in the team at the time. You know, we were struggling for shooters, and Pulisic, literally without the injuries, Pulisic is that guy. Like, he takes on players. He's not afraid to go for goal. He's not afraid to shoot whenever he needs to. You know, do you know what I mean? Like, he's not always looking for the assist. Like, that was one thing that annoyed a lot of people about Eden Hazard. He was always looking for the assist. And then Eden Hazard, in his last season, he had to take it upon himself to try and create and try and score goals at the same time. And I can't ask that from a player, because no player is as good as Eden Hazard at the moment in time. But Pulisic is the closest thing to when it comes to shooting and when it comes to being direct and taking on players. So I would have chosen Pulisic at the time, 100%.
Fair enough. Alexis?
Yeah, at the time, I would have chosen Sancho. I'm not going to lie. Only because I don't rate Pulisic nowhere near as highly as everyone else. For me, his ceiling is first sub off the bench. But I'm going to move on.
Damn you.
Alexis, I'm coming for you, man. I can't lie. I'm coming for you, man. I can't lie to you. That season we signed him. Sancho, what are you talking about? Fam, I just knew from Callum to those Insta stories. What are we talking about? I don't know who is Sancho. Now, respectfully speaking, like, that's what happened. He saw a breakout at the time when Pulisic signed for Chelsea was when Sancho was starting to show the world what he's about. And at that very point in time, everybody was looking at Pulisic. The only issue was that injury, and Chelsea picked him up at a good time in the January transfer window. You rarely make transfers like that around that time. I remember he actually just came off as well, so it's not even like he just moved straight away. So for me, I'm not going to say. Looking at things now with the way things have unfolded over the last 24 or 2 months, obviously everybody would ideally want to go for Sancho because the end product is more. But then again, this brother hasn't. We all Bundesliga tax. It's an expensive thing to pay, you know. Do you know I'm coming from? I don't know about you lot, but that's an expensive thing. So we don't even know how he's going to pan out United. Hopefully, I'd love to see him play well because, I mean, I want to see ballers in the Premier League overall. But at the end of the day, to be interesting to see. But at that point in time, there's nothing on this planet that made me take Jadon Sancho over Pulisic, except maybe the injury record. But even then, Sancho needed so much time to adjust. Let me not even waffle on for too much longer. Dammy,
don't you dare. No, I'm not hearing it. I'm so sorry. The disrespect on Jadon Sancho that just came out from your mouth is hurting my brain.
Which one?
It's hurting my brain. What do you mean? Jadon Sancho, when did he go to Dortmund? What, 2017, right? And it took him about, I would say, a season or so to kind of actually get used to the system and kind of get cemented into that first team, right? And I'm not being funny. Within that time, yes, he benched Christian Pulisic. So when you knowing that that person has benched Christian Pulisic at that time, there's no way that you're possibly thinking you want Christian Pulisic over Jadon Sancho because of what's it called? What was your reasoning again?
You hadn't heard much of Sancho.
Yeah, because you haven't heard much of Sancho. Because Sancho at that time, everyone was talking about him. He was that kid that left Manchester City to go pursue his dreams and became that kid that Manchester City needed in the end. And that's why they did Sunday and needed Sancho. You know what I mean? But
British media tax, Anita.
You're saying Bundesliga tax, and I get it.
I said British media tax.
Oh, British media tax. But you said Bundesliga tax in your...
No, I'm talking about what everybody knew about Sancho, innit? You know what I'm saying? Black boy from London, you know what I'm saying? Fam, did it. Fam, that was what was happening.
It wasn't just British media. It was Spain. Spain was talking about him as well. Germany were talking about him. A lot of people were talking about this new kid who is a new prospect and coming up. And also, Bundesliga tax. Yeah, I'm not hearing it from Chelsea players, especially when they want Haaland. If you want Haaland, I'm not hearing nothing about a Bundesliga.
Oh no, I don't even come at me for that because I've applied Bundesliga tax to Haaland as well. So you don't even need to talk to me about any of that. No, listen, my stance for Haaland, I've said, see, obviously we spoke about the transfer and everything. Nobody asked me about my opinion on Haaland, didn't it? So let's not even go to that. I believe the tax applies there too. I got my own strong opinion on Haaland, but yeah, drink the water again. You know what I'm saying? Everybody loves Evian as well. You know I'm coming from. But once again, like I said, for me, what I'd seen from Pulisic, turning up against Real Madrid in the UCL, turning up against all these other big teams in the Bundesliga, turning up against Bayern Munich, holding Dortmund to higher standards. Sancho came in, yeah, talented guy, but I've been seeing what Pulisic can do in it, and I've seen what he can do now as well. And honest to God, if you ask me, if two of them, once again, I hate if buts and maybes, but if you ask me to put two of them up against each other on their best days, Pulisic wins 9 times out of 10. That's my opinion.
Fair enough, Monster. So we can close out this segment. You're muted.
It's Sancho, man. Like, I'm about my brother from South London. You know what I mean? Like, it's Jadon Sancho. You know, like, I got too much love for that kid. Simple as that. There's bias there in it, so I'm on the back of Sancho on this one. Listen, Pulisic is great. Obviously, he had that amazing season, but then Sancho is like a walking 15 and 15. Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe we'll see. Well, we'll see this season, innit? Like, we'll see if he's able to get those same numbers at Man United. I believe he can get 15 assists. Can he get 15 goals though? That's where it's gonna be. That's where I'm gonna be like, okay, let's see.
No, that's fair enough. Look,
at the moment, he's a walking 15-15.
Fair enough, man. I think, look, there's no better stage right now. Both of them are in the Premier League. Both are fit right now. I mean, both are coming off. I mean, Sancho had one good game at least to show for himself at the Euros. Pulisic also played well. I've forgotten what game it was, but he scored 2 goals for USA in an international game. And I think the Pulisic thing for me, especially with the injuries, just to nip it in the bud as well, is as Chelsea fans, we just have to buy at the dip, man. And that's what I think we did. Buying him at the dip, just investing stocks in him and just seeing how he progresses. And the stage is set now. Pulisic and Sancho are in the same league, similar age. Well, how old is Sancho? 22 as well? 21. So, yes, same age, man. They got the stage is set for them to really take it on for their teams. And we'll see, man. We'll see. Obviously, we're getting closer to the end of the show. But one thing I definitely wanted to speak about and get everyone's thoughts on was obviously the current situation with our youngsters leaving. I got something very special cooking with some former Chelsea Academy guys. I'm not going to reveal too much, but something's cooking soon. Something's cooking, which will spill some of the tea. But as for now, in terms of you guys' thoughts on the Chelsea Academy, obviously a bit of context: Lewis Bate, Tino Livramento, Miles Peart-Harris, Mark Guehi has left, Tomori has left. It wasn't too long ago, was it not last year? 2 years ago, Cho was almost about to leave as well. Is there a youth problem? Do we have a youth problem in the fact that the youngsters in our team, the quality youngsters in our team, no longer want to wait for their chance? Is that a problem? Do you think it's a problem? Anyone can take it.
I think it's a
I don't think so.
Oh,
The thing is, yeah, if you look at, think about, when you look at all over Europe, I do get it. Chelsea has the best academy, you could say, in Europe, right?
Yeah.
But if you look at Europe, how many players are being pushed from their academy into the first team every single season? It's very rare, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't happen often. Look everywhere. People will bring up Barcelona. Barcelona, it was Pep's. It was Pep. When Pep came in, he brought in a lot of their youth because obviously he was the coach of the Barcelona B team. Obviously, Messi was coming off the bench, but Pep got rid of Ronaldinho, made Messi the #1 guy. He got rid of Deco, made Iniesta and Xavi the #1 guys too. People say Bayern Munich. When you look at Bayern Munich, there was only 2 academy products in there: Thomas Muller and David Alaba. The rest of them are young players they practically stole from Europe, stole from Germany, which they always do season in, season out. Chelsea at the moment, we've been promoting youth, and this is before Frank Lampard. We've been promoting youth. You know, before Lampard, there was Ruben, there was Cho, there was Christensen, there was Matic as well. When Mourinho brought Matic back, but he was a Chelsea academy product too. There's been many players. So in my opinion, not everyone makes it. Fair enough, some of these guys are leaving, but at the same time, there's rumors that Armando Broja, is it? He's coming.
Yeah.
And he's going to be part of the first team, and there's talks of Dujon Sterling, another one. So that's another 2 players. And also what people don't understand is what academies are deemed as successful is not just them being pushed into the first team of that team. If players go to other teams and play first team football, that is still deemed as a success. So people don't understand this. If you've been within the system, you would know this, but it's just people are just hella hyper emotional in it. That's all it is.
I can't lie to you. For me, this situation with the youth, I've got, once again, it's unpopular opinions for me today, but once again, with this youth setup, like that comment you brought up from, was it Blue Boy CFC? That was spot on.
Yeah.
Which one have we? Who? And people will tell me De Bruyne. They'll tell me
Ake is the closest one, Dammy. I thought through it the other. Ake is the only one. Ake is the only one.
De Bruyne and all those guys, they're not academy products.
They're not academy players. I think to people, I just say people make so much. See, I love youth players. I watch youth football when I can. You know what I'm saying? I speak to a lot of youth accounts. I've spoken to a few of the youngsters, and I get the gist. I get the gist. Knowing somebody want them to get, we know the hard work they put in. I know all of that. But true shit, when push comes to shove, who was the last? Okay, I'll throw these questions to the panel as I bring them up. Number one, who was the last academy player to just come into the first team and do a Mazzolini on a consistent basis? It was John Terry. That was the last one. People tell you that the academy has improved over the years. Well, they didn't just start gassing up the academy 2 years ago. They've been gassing it for decades. Not even decades. Let's not say decades. They've been gassing it for like 15 years. 15, 16. They've been gassing it for a long time, bro.
Nathaniel Chalobah was meant to be a Chelsea starter.
You know what I'm saying? You've got all these different people. People are talking about all these players and saying, oh, we're going to let go. And I fall victim to this as well. For sentimental purposes. I'm not saying that we shouldn't sort of get the youth involved. But then, for example, today, everybody's complaining about Lewis Bate. I know Lewis. I've spoken to Lewis. But these things with them here, Lewis is not stupid. And I'm not speaking for him, but if anybody says, oh, Lewis Bate said, I'm not spoken to him, mom. I've not spoken to him in months. So let's not even do that. Not spoken to him in months. In fact, it's over a year now. But my point still stands. If you've got things like this here, Bate is not stupid. He's going to look into midfield. Look at the youngins that are right in front of him. The youth can also block the youth. That's something people always forget as well. People think, oh yeah, the first team players are there blocking. The youth players block youth as well. Man, them are telling me Conor Gallagher should get installed when you've just got Mason Mount springing up. He's still booting. He's not even got to win the homepage yet. What are we talking about? And you're trying to get Conor Gallagher involved. But it's true. It's true. And secondly, my next question, out of all these youth players everybody talks about, how many of them have left the club and gone on to do something that was so commendable that we're all sitting here saying, why didn't we keep that guy? None. Mention one. Man, that we're getting, see, for example, Tariq Lamptey is absolutely phenomenal. He's still got many years left in his career, and all these different players we've got to see as time goes on in it. Who knows what's happening with Lamptey now? Who knows about his situation when he saw injured?
He was injured.
He was injured. But the point I'm trying to get across, and maybe because that was a bad example, but the point I'm trying to get across is like, for me, all these youth players, all of them, they can say, yeah, they're going to leave and they're going to different places. You don't hear about them ever again. You rarely ever hear about them ever again.
I think Lamptey is the only one that people would say, yeah, maybe. But then again, Reece James was in front of him. So you're not are you really going to take, some people might, but you're going to take Lamptey over Reece James? You're not. And I remember as well, who remembers Chelsea? There's about 3 strikers I can name right now.
Solanke. He was meant to be better than Ronaldinho. He was meant to be everything. People say
Dominic. It's not just Solanke, bro. There's Dominic Solanke, there's Ryan Brewster, and there's what's the other one? Nketiah. 3 of those players were absolutely ripping it apart in the academy. Nketiah is still England's under-21's highest goal scorer, beat Shearer's record. Ryan Brewster was absolutely tearing it up. Also won the under 17 World Cup, best player in that tournament. And Dominic Solanke, the Golden Boot winner at the under-20 World Cup, and was absolutely just killing their people, different academies year in, year out, tearing it apart. And if Twitter was as prevalent as it was back then, I wonder how these guys would have reacted if any of these guys had left right now. It would have been Twitter would have erupted.
But it goes even further back though. Islam Farouz, do you remember him?
El Kakuta.
Josh McCachran as well. I've not forgotten all these
What's the name of the Crystal Palace fullback? What's his name?
Van Aanholt. Yeah, there you go. Van Aanholt was 29, isn't he? He's older, isn't he? Yeah. And that's what it's been happening. I thought about it and I was like, it has been happening. How many of them have we actually let go of and we're like, damn, that's a regret? None.
All right, cool. Having said that, then Claudia, I'll come to you, and then Joyce, I want to get your thoughts as well. When you look at the Guehis of the world and the Tomoris of the world, do you potentially see us regretting it? Because I think where the hysteria is coming from is the current talent. So fair enough, there's guys that we've let go in the past that may or may not have gotten into the team and whatnot. But it's now the players that we're talking about, the players at hand that are quality. Because there's obviously something that AC Milan see in Tomori that Lampard and Chelsea, whoever it was, didn't see. Mark Guehi, of course, everyone has been ranting and every single big Chelsea account that I've seen said that Mark Guehi is going to be one of the mainstays in our team, and then he gets sold, and then obviously it's an issue. So what do you think? What's your opinion about everything?
I think Tomori is the one which was the most frustrating for me, just because I think in his, under Lampard at Derby, he was a player this season there. First season for us, I think he was pretty good. He was put into a few errors, but I did think he did have a good debut season. And then obviously, no one still knows to this day what actually happened with Tomori and Lampard in the second season. Then he was shipped off to AC Milan. But I think it just shows Tomori's mentality and character that he's actually gone to AC Milan, replaced Romagnoli, who was highly regarded in Italy. He's taken a centre-back spot and he's settled into AC Milan like he's been there longer than what he actually has been, which just shows how good Tomori actually is. I think he may be one which we do maybe look at in a few years and think, we may regret this. But it could be one of the few with Tomori. I do think not all youth will make it at Chelsea. Cobham is full of talented youngsters, and it's either going to be used for business or a pathway to the first team. That's how it is. Not all of them are going to make it, but we do have a foundation of Cobham youngsters in our team now who play an important part of this team. So we still need to be proud of what's actually happened. And of course, I do think the transfer ban was a big part to play in that as well. Without the transfer ban, I don't think maybe some of them wouldn't have made it into this first team. So yeah, with Mark Guehi, I was gutted about him leaving because he had a good season for Swansea. I watched him quite a bit last season. I think he's composed on the ball. He's a good sort of ball-playing centre-back. He's physical, but again, these players have to look out for their careers as well. He's thinking, do I want to go on loan, potentially fight for a spot? I may not make it in the Chelsea first team. Whereas he's got a good move to Palace now. I like the Palace team as well. They're an exciting team. Obviously, Patrick Vieira, good manager. Well, we'll see what happens with him in the Prem. But I think they've got an exciting team. And to be honest, if that was offered to me, you've got to look at him sort of in the future over the next few years. It's a good move. So, and we do have first refusal on him. So hopefully we may not regret that too much.
Joyce, are the Chelsea fans moving mad? Because when I think about it, in terms of all the teams in the Premier League, all the top teams in the Premier League, let's say the big six, don't we have the most Cobham prospects in our team? Like the youth prospects in our team?
Yeah, right now we do. Yeah. I think Chelsea fans are moving mad, but I think Chelsea fans are moving mad from all different angles. I think everybody is mad based on this fan base. Everyone is insane.
I like that.
Because the Chelsea fans that are sitting here crying about the academy saying, oh, why didn't they stay and fight for their place? Why didn't they go on loan 3 more times? If you don't want to die for the badge, you've got weak mentality because you want to leave. Football is such a short career. Football can literally end in like half a season if you get your leg snapped by someone and then your career is done. These people want to play football and maximize their time. If they don't think that they see a pathway into the first team of Chelsea, and Chelsea is one of the biggest teams in the UK and in the world, so it's hard to get there anyway. And if they're seeing, look, I want to guarantee myself football instead of maybe like trailing around in the loan system, there should be no problem with that. And you shouldn't be angry at youth players for wanting to leave. Like people talking about this mass exodus and getting really angry at youth players for not wanting to fight for their sport. I think that's ridiculous. I also think that people get too angry about the pathway to the first team. I do think that we could do better. The thing that annoys me is when we go out and spend lots of money on average players and stopgap players when we've got talented youth that could fill those gaps. That's where I feel like we could use the academy better because, you know, when we have, you know, we're still complaining about Zappacosta, we're still complaining that we have Emerson and Alonso and all these players that we've spent 30 million, 20 million, 40 million on, when there was some like an 18, 19-year-old kid who's like running around the loan system who could have done an equally capable job. For me, that's where I feel like the youth system, we could use it better in that way because then we can use those funds. I know, you know, Roman's got money, so it's fine. But like we can use those funds better to then go and spend on those people who are going to start and who are going to improve our starting 11. But then at the same, like, I really think just people do too much with the academy. Like you can't have this spiritual bondage with these people and just want them to. Lewis Baker, people loved off Lewis Baker. I really liked him as well. He stayed here. He's like, oh, I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep going alone. I don't know who's advising him, but anyway, let me not talk bad on people's name. But like, he's now 26. He's playing on loan in Turkey. He's not going to get back into the first like starting team. And, you know, maybe he should have cut his losses. I think with the academy, yes, you know, not everyone can make it. Not everyone should make it. Not everyone will make it. Maybe this crop, we got lucky in the sense that we had a transfer ban and they were forced into putting them in that situation. But the reality is, like everyone is saying, most of the like top 6 teams around us aren't filling their teams with academy products. So we can't expect the whole starting 11 to be Cobham FC.
Yeah. Only the best of the best make it, man.
Using what we have. Do you know what I mean?
Only the best of the best make it. Like if we're being honest, like it's only going to be a few. Christensen, we saw how great he was. He made it. She's right in terms of if a player wants to leave, I do not blame him. I've said on many, when Tomori was still here, I was saying, listen, if they don't want to use you, just cut. Like, go to a team that's going to use you. He's gone to Italy now, highly regarded by Maldini, one of the greatest ever centre-backs of all time, probably maybe D grades. Also, Baresi probably top 5 himself. He's going there to learn. If you know Thiago Silva's journey, you know he went to AC Milan and was playing next to Nesta, another one of the greats, and he learned his trade there. So for Tomori, I'm so happy with him. I really wish he stayed. And same thing goes for Guehi. If Guehi's that guy, now he's going to go to Crystal Palace and he's going to show himself. And this is good. This is a good thing for these players. I don't know why people are so mad on both sides. Do you get what I mean? It's not. It's wrong to say that these guys don't have the mentality. No, they do have the mentality. Hence why they want to go out and play some football and prove themselves playing. You know, they don't want to be part of the. They saw what happened with Lucas Piafon with with the loan situation where he was out on loan for God knows how long. So they don't want to go for him.
Don't forget, sorry, I was just going to say Ethan Ampadu as well. Like, he was highly regarded, and 2 seasons ago before he went on loan to Leipzig. I know he was troubled with injuries a bit, and then last season with Sheffield United, another poor loan. So loan moves isn't always the way forward. So you have to be careful as a young player when you're looking at these moves.
Claudio, anyone that plays is touted to be the next Ballon d'Or winner. That's the issue. Everyone that plays is a star boy, and it can't work like that.
If I tell you what someone said, we have Messi's, Ronaldo's, what did he say? Haaland's in our academy, and we've literally blocked their pathway. I was just like, Jesus Christ! Like, this is the mentality of how people.
Do you know my biggest problem, though?
But pathway.
If you're really good, like, you're only gonna listen. It's a cherry picking thing. You pick the best cherries. Do you know what I mean? And that's all it is. If you ain't the best cherries at a certain given time, you're not gonna get in. Courtois was although he was an academy brother, when we loaned him out, he was the best cherry. You saw him killing at Atletico. He came back. He displaced the legend. Like, Petr Cech could have stayed for about 2 or 3 more seasons, but we got rid of him just so that Courtois can be in our team. Christensen killed it out on loan. The best cherries. He came back. They brought him in, and he played. Like, it's the best cherries, in. That's just how it is. Unfortunately, that's the game.
Do you know what I find? Do you know what the funniest part is of the whole conversation? Some people are sat at home, and in their heads, they are looking at certain players. Some are 22, 23, and some for the academy are like 20. Raw, they can't coexist. Same position. Yeah, this guy's too good. Why is he going now? And I'm just there like, are you, man, can you pass me the kush you're taking in? Because I fully don't understand. No, because it's true. Some people are fully sitting down expecting certain man them to hover around and wait around. Yeah. There's no space. And one thing people refuse to understand is Deadwood definitely blocks youth. Bad planning can block youth, but youth will always block youth because they graduate every year. That's the situation. That's just the situation. That's what people fail to realize. People, I was arguing with somebody the other day, they're just saying, Conor Gallagher, why are we not getting him involved in the team? You should start playing with Tino Andrea in the midfield and Mason Mount. I said, do you watch this academy, boss? Do you know what you're saying? They don't even realize it. And it's funny. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah. People can talk about that. I mean, I agree that there's really no structure for it. But then again, how would you structure something like this? Like Monster said, it's cherry picking.
But it's really not even that, Dammy, though. I ask people this question all the time. No, but that's what we should do.
Because that's the thing. People have forgotten. I'm sorry to cut you off, Alexis. Like, people have forgotten. That academy, we all love them, innit? But they were set up as a money-making factory.
Yeah.
That's a fact. Well, I set them up as a money-making factory. That's what are we doing now? Mark Guehi. This guy has not set foot in the Premier League pitch. And we're sold him for 20 million. Jesus.
Let's be honest,
Christ. That is business.
It's as simple as this, yeah. The Chelsea fan base is very impatient. Very, very impatient. And I say that to say, if you want, unfortunately, if you want to be a top team in Europe or whatever, you want to be winning Champions Leagues, you want to be winning Premier Leagues, you don't have time like that to be breeding in that many youth players. You can with a couple, 2, 3, maybe 4, but that's about it. You saw with Frank Lampard, he brought in the youth. He did get to 4th. The next season, you saw Lampard. Obviously, look at the record. Lampard actually stopped using that many youth. He used Reece James and he used what's his name? Obviously, his name? Mason Mount. Yeah, and he used Callum Hudson-Odoi sparingly. Do you get what I mean? He actually reverted back to the old way of Chelsea managers not necessarily using youth. I know Billy Gilmour is injured, but he didn't really use him. He didn't use Tomori. Obviously, Tomori got axed out. Andrin and all these guys, they never even got a chance. So it's as simple as that. There's pressure. If Chelsea's not winning, these guys that are complaining about youth will be the same ones that are complaining that Chelsea needs to start winning and blah, blah, blah. It doesn't work like that.
It's the same people complaining about a striker signing a striker now, but then Broja getting an opportunity. They're like, no, it's not good enough. But at the same time, we don't give youth chance. Like, you have to make your mind up. Which one do you want? Do you want Haaland? You have to subsidize it by selling youth. Like,
no, I hear it, man. I fully hear it, and I think. Go on.
No, in the sense.
What's your opinion? What's your opinion?
When we talk about giving youth chances versus giving other people chances, I think what burns people and what sometimes annoys me is when we're talking about giving people chances and having chances to bred people in. When you spend like 60 million pounds on players, spend 50 million, when you spend all that money on players, you're going to give them chances. You're going to give them chance after chance after chance after chance. If it's a youth player that comes in, they're not going to get the chance. They show out. If you perform, you're in, kind of. If you don't, you're out and you're done. And I think that's something that grates people because it's like, and I understand it, you want to get a return on your investment, but we can't say that like people will get the same or a fair opportunity. Say like someone like Havertz, and I'm not saying that Havertz isn't special, of course he is, but he's going to get more opportunities, he's going to get more chances than someone else in our academy because he costs 80 million or however much we pay, 70 million. We need to get our investment back on him. It's not, we can't say that the equity of opportunity is the same, even if people have similar levels of talent. Why is Hudson-Odoi getting fewer chances than someone like Pulisic? Pulisic, we invested in him. We need to see the returns. We're going to trust him more. So it's not, the equity isn't there. And I think it's very unfair to say that it would exist.
That's the
but
game.
You're naming elite level talents there. I think Hudson-Odoi is an elite level talent. I don't think Lewis Bay is better than Mason Mount. I don't think he's yeah, do you know what I mean? Like some of these talents, like Ruben, people want Ruben to stay and Bate to stay. So who are you selling, Kovacic, Kante, or Jorginho? Like it doesn't make sense. Like you can't have all of them make it. So it's time to sell.
And I think look, one of the biggest things that I think hasn't been mentioned as well is at the end of the day, what it comes down to is timing. I mean, like you just unfortunately came through at a time when the team is at its most successful, so there's literally no space for you to get into the squad. Like Phil Foden, the only reason why Phil Foden comes into that Man City team, into that winning culture, is because he's literally the most talented player in the academy. David Silva was on his way out, and he fortunately you think if David Silva was in his prime, then you also had Bernardo Silva and his, like when he came and he was looking like a world-class player, and Phil Foden was literally ripe and ready to play. He could have made the decision as well to leave, but the timing was right. It was perfect for him to come in at the time, and timing is everything, man. The transfer ban helped Reece James get a full season, Mason Mount get a full season under their belt. Timing is everything, man, and that's unfortunately the guys of old didn't get the timing.
Daniel, I got one last thing to say. These players sign great deals at Chelsea, so we can't always say that it's Chelsea doing them dirty. Like some of them are earning money that is crazy, and they know the consequences that could potentially come by signing such long-term deals. And I think Monster touched on it. After they leave Chelsea, they're almost guaranteed 2 or 3 chances at other clubs, just purely at the fact that they came through at Chelsea. So like Mark Guehi, he's guaranteed a Premier League career for the next 5 years, in my opinion, unless he gets injured. Like, because if Palace sell him, someone else will take an opportunity.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough, man. That's good. That's good. Good content. We'll just do a full U-turn, wrap up the show with one question, simple yes or no. Obviously, we started with Haaland, #1 transfer, went on to the youth team and all the prospects there. Where I want to end it on is Declan Rice. I stayed away from having a full conversation on him. I do not want a full conversation on him. I simply want a yes or no. Actually, no. We'll go to him. I'll mix it up. Anita, we'll go to you first. Declan Rice, yes or no?
If any of you watched the early morning kickoff this morning on Sky Sports, you know exactly how I feel. Bring that boy here.
What kind of flex?
Bring that boy here.
100 mil.
I'm not for 100 mil, please. No. But
yo, Daniel, you gotta add context to it because the price.
Yeah. If you add the price, then hell nah. But if they want to cut the price,
let's put the context. This is my hypothetical situation. We get Declan Rice. We have to give up Tammy Abraham and also give up 40 M's. Yes or no? Anita.
Give up Tammy Abraham without getting Haaland. You know,
let's forget about that situation.
let's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
forget
about
about
the hardest.
there's too many blocks, but let's just put it in isolation. Tammy Abraham 40 M's for Declan Rice. Yes or no?
Declan Rice 40 M's, yes.
Okay.
With
fair
Tammy
enough.
Abraham.
No, she said not without. Yeah, without.
You're not
Tammy.
getting him for 40 M's. That's void.
West
Yeah,
Ham,
you're not.
clubs need to stop holding their players hostage, fam. Let him go. He wants to go. Let him go.
I don't share the same.
length.
I don't share the same sentiment because we held Eden Hazard hostage. So I can't be a hypocrite.
No. The difference is Eden Hazard wanted to stay up until 2019. He was calm and staying. Then he said, "Nah, that ain't it." Then he said, "I'm going," and then he left.
Yeah, and he gave us. Yeah.
Do the NBA thing. Sign 2-year deals. Sign 2-year deals. If you want control of your future, you have to sign shorter deals. Like
that's not going to happen, though, is it?
Then players can't complain.
You got to remember the reason why players are not going to sign shorter deals like that is if they don't perform at a certain level, then obviously, like, if they can't get rid of them, they want the money, right? Like that's why Barcelona have got bare players on their books stuck, and those players are living the life. They don't want to leave. Do you get what I mean? They want the money.
Yo, someone is screaming in the comments, fam.
Oh my god!
Cool. Let's make it.
I can actually hear him as well. I can actually hear as well.
Nah. Let's make.
No, these are
facts. He even said Jesu, like he's mad. Like he's mad. He does not like it.
My lungs, man. Oh my
Let's make it quick fire then. Alexis, the same deal. We have to give up Tammy. We have to give up 40 M's.
I don't want him, period. So I'm not spending any money on him.
Fair enough. Monster.
No, because the context is Tammy's worth 40 mil. You add 40 mil on top of that, that's 80 mil. To me, Declan Rice is worth max 60 mil. And it's not because he's Declan Rice, because generally I wouldn't pay over 60 mil for a defensive midfielder, personally.
That's another interesting point. Tammy?
Huh? Me three alone. Nah. Oh, forget about it, man. Forget about it. Listen, Rice, 40 M's, and then freaking Tammy for that's worth 40 as well. Nah. Anything less than that, maybe like, you know what I'm saying, 40 M's, 45 M's, can have my card. You know what I'm saying? You can have my card. For anything else? Nah. We're not taking it, man. I'm not taking it.
Joyce?
For that price, I think we're getting bumped because we're still. That means we're basically paying the AEMs, and I'm not paying AEMs for Rice.
Yeah, boy, Claudio.
I'm taking Declan Rice, but not for that deal.
Not for that deal. Fair enough.
Thank you,
Claudio. How much are you willing
I said
to
I'll
pay?
take him too. I said I'll take him too.
I said I'll take him as well.
Oh, so it's just the price.
Yeah.
Alexis, you're on your own on this one, bro.
Yeah, but it's cool.
Nah, it's fine not to rate certain players. Like, people have their favourites, people don't. I'm not one of those people who beg for Declan Rice to come into Chelsea. I just think he can bring something different to us, what we've got. And also, he's a player who can have longevity at the club as well. He's still at a good age where he can improve. But yeah, obviously, I don't want to get too much into it, but yeah.
Look, I mean, I wouldn't give my answer, but I'll give a hint. I just think we need a midfielder that can offer us something going forward. And that's what I think we need necessarily from our the next midfielder we buy in. That's my opinion, isn't it? Pardon?
I think he can offer.
The guy in the chat is killing.
I mean, that's up to you.
Hey,
that's
Monster,
up to you.
that's code for he doesn't want it.
that's left up to you.
Oh, we're
but
talking 80 to 100 plus. He wants. I think I heard them say he wants 200k in wages. Like,
Yeah, Ben Chilwell's on 190. Let that sink in.
yeah.
Yeah, and with the prices of wages today, I think that's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Chelsea don't. Chelsea, if you actually deep it, Chelsea don't just give out money like that in terms of wages. Like, relatively, a lot of our squad are on like low wages. Do you get what I mean? So I think we've done very well with that.
Hey,
Our wage structure is really good.
He's giving a full. He said, "You tell me what your offer is. No drip, can't run, no waxing."
He has drip. He has
He's got drip.
Yeah,
No.
He's a drippy guy. He's actually
It's the money that's
guy.
making you guys drip, man. No, don't do this. Don't do
What's
this.
wrong with his
I like.
accent?
Thing is, I like Declan is calming. You know what I'm saying? If I saw him at Stratford or whatever, I'd be like, yo, boss, what are you saying? You want a pint or something? I don't know, but he's calming it. But for me, this money we're talking about, it's too much. It's too much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But what isn't too much? That's the question no one's answering. Like, what isn't too much?
I think max 60 mil.
60 is even too much for me. 55.
It is, but I will accept it. Like it's acceptable.
55. I'm a hard bargain guy. I can't.
Fourth choice
You're
centre.
moving like Arsenal, man.
Fourth choice centre mid at 60.
Boy, that's a lot of money.
Rich people problems.
Cool. That's where we'll leave it for today, man. It's been another great episode of Eyes on the Ball TV. I want to appreciate everyone on the panel. It's been interesting, man, for sure. Before we wrap it up, let's let the people know where they can find you. Starting with Claudio.
My Twitter is Claudio D __. See, throughout the season, I'll be on Never Foul mostly, but yeah, happy to jump on anytime. Thank you for inviting me on. It's been a great show. Great panel as well. All you guys gave great opinions. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the new season.
Facts, man. Been trying to get Claudio for time, so happy I got him on for this one, innit? So, Joyce.
So my app for Twitter and Instagram is here somewhere. There we go. I'm quiet on the streaming front, so I haven't been doing much streaming for a while. But I'm on a podcast with Anita called Gold Diggers, so look out for stuff soon. I'm sure you can tell. She can tell you.
She gave me money. 100%, man. Joyce is also the queen of Twitter trolling. So if one of the best Twitter accounts out there. So make sure you follow her up. Monster, what are you saying?
Just Monster CFC, man. That's it. Everything.
100%, man. If you want the groundbreaking Chelsea content, you already know where to find it, man. Alexis, what are you saying?
The Kafka's view. You get my opinion on transfer rumors that are real, that are fake. I call them how they are. But they're in 10-minute form. Then you can go watch Monster for an hour and a half. Same content, different types.
I'm finished, man. What a guy. What a guy.
Praise Michi Bashwai for some reason.
Hey,
but hey, that's for another podcast. Damn you, man. Where can they find you?
Big up panel, you know what I'm saying? Just the grand dam, you know what I'm saying? I can't lie to you. I've gone missing, set up flyers and everything. Can't find me nowhere, but we're out here doing our thing still. You know what I'm saying? If you want to laugh, then you know where to come. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's smart when I said that, so I know I'm doing something right. You know what I mean?
100. And finally,
Anita,
what's do you even attach to Anita now? Like, because I don't even know who your agency is now these days.
Oh, find Anita.
Where's the Gold Diggers at, man? Where they at?
Find Anita on Sky Sports. Find her on BBC. Find her on TikTok. Find her on Adidas. Find her on Nike. Find her on Gold Diggers. Find her on FLWN_. Find her everywhere in it. You know what I'm saying? She's all over the place.
Sky Sports.
Hey, you've done the job. Hi, ITV fam. Do you know what? If you get an agency where they tell you not to do certain deals, it's peak for you. You know, it's
that's why I'm not getting an agency. I'm gonna be in charge of my own flipping future and career. Fuck that shit. If any of the agencies are listening right now, I know there's one of you in my DMs. Fuck that shit. I'm letting you know. But no, Gold Diggers is rebranding, and Gold Diggers is coming back on a podcast basis. We're not doing the streaming thing. It's not us. We just can't. But we're coming back. We're rebranding. You know, gonna be back on the podcast. And on top of that, look out for Spotify's newest playlist for football podcasts because we gonna be on there, boo. Putting that out.
I can't troll you on YouTube no more, no?
No, you gotta follow us on Spotify now.
And if I'm not mistaken, you're looking for new streamers, innit? Or podcasters.
Yeah, we're looking for new podcasters. We've actually got a lot in the DMs.
Ladies, ladies. Men don't
ladies, please. Just women. Ethnic minority women. Sorry guys, I don't mean to be discriminatory, but even if you have a little bit of a ethnic minority in you, then join. You know,
Are you looking for the 1% Hispanic girls? All right, see no more.
Yeah, if you're 1% Hispanic, you're still part of the club. You know, it's part of the crew.
Just say that's what
you're gonna have people doing 23.
What's that loudest thing, man? What's wrong with you, bro?
I
love my you find out.
100%, man. Before this goes in another direction, it's been Eyes on the Ball TV. It's been your boy Daniel. It's been your host Daniel. Nadim and Darren obviously got the Arsenal and Man United streams coming in the next couple of weeks. Obviously the NBA finals, we've been covering that as well. So do all of that good stuff. Like, comment, subscribe. Eyes on the Ball TV. We out.
Yo, I'm tryna get my sterling up in the city, so s'il play. As soon as my child can walk, it's straight Project Mbappe. But all the verbal, as soon as I hear that whistle, we get straight to the action. Come on lads, where's the passion? Do like Alamatsi, we wear headbands for the fashion. If the defenders drop back, we counter and then attack them. I got my eye on the ball, I got my eye on the ball, yeah. I got my eye on the ball, I got my eye on the ball, yeah. I got my eye on the ball, I got my eye on the ball.
Yo, that intro.